Alex DeBrincat is a 40-goal scorer. Hawks win in overtime, 4-3 over the Arizona Coyotes. Oh man, if we lost to the Coyotes 3 times this year, that would have been even more embarrassing than losing them twice, because a couple of teams have lost them twice, but I don't think anyone has lost them 3 times. So thankfully, we did not lose them 3 times. We did get the win on the road in Arizona. It was a close game, though, and the Hawks blew a 2-goal lead. They got a goal under a minute into the game from Jake McCabe, just his 4th goal of the season, and the Hawks went up 1-0. Kupalik would add another goal and make it 2-0 by the end of the first period. So right out the gate, the Hawks would get a lead, a multi-goal lead. They'd surrender a goal, but get another one back from Alex Vlasic, his first year. I don't even know where he came from. So I can't even tell you if it's first goal with the Hawks or first goal in the NHL or some other, thing. I don't know. NHL.com does not even have a face for Vlasic. It is just a default blank silhouette that represents his name. So I have no idea who this guy is. But he ended up scoring to get the Hawks a 3-1 lead at the end of the second period. So, good for him. If that's his first NHL goal, you'll love to see it. If that's his first goal with the Hawks, good for him too. And to boot, that goal that Vlasic scored was assisted by DeBrincat and Kane. That's if you never score again in the NHL, if that is the first goal that he scores in the NHL, if you don't score again, you scored a goal that was assisted by Alex DeBrincat and Patrick Kane, one of the best, if not the best player, U.S.-born player in NHL history. And that's something that you can kind of go home to tell your grandkids about. That's something you can go out, you can, talk to your parents about. That's a fun story. That's a fun story to tell. And good for them. So the Hawks would lead 3-1 after the second period, but they would let up 2 in the third period. And just when you're like, oh, good, they'll beat the Coyotes, we'll get those 2 points. Even though they mean nothing, you still beat the Coyotes, you should be doing that. But they blow the 2-goal lead and send the game to overtime. Another player for Arizona who scored his first goal of the season, probably first goal in the NHL too. So good for them too. This is what you kind of see in meaningless games down the stretch. You see more players being called up from the minors and getting opportunities to play because, there's nothing to play for. But in overtime, they bring out the big guns, and the overtime went, somewhat well, and then, you just get under a minute, and you're like, I don't know, this is probably going to a shootout. But Alex DeBrincat makes that not happen because with Seth Jones and Patrick Kane out, probably the best 3 that you could put out for an overtime like this. They both assist, and DeBrincat roofs it and wins the game for the Hawks 4-3 in overtime, and they get the 2 points. I know, a pretty fast recap. We're towards the end of the season. There's no need to really go in depth here. One thing that I will mention, Andrew Ladd, former Hawk, plays in his 1,000th game against his former club. Now, Ladd has been with the Coyotes for quite a while now. I don't exactly remember how long, but it feels like he's been there for a couple of years now. He celebrates 1,000 career NHL games, which, we've had 2 players in the last 2 years do that, and Kane and Taves. So, good for Andrew Ladd. Again, sorry you didn't win. But if you think about it, your 1,000th game was a game that you lost in overtime. Kane and Taves, in both of their 1,000th game, The Hawks scored 1 goal. They got shut out by Florida for Tage's 1,000, and they lost 6-1 to Dallas for Kane's 1,000. And Kane didn't play in front of any fans, too. So congrats on 1,000 NHL games, Andrew. Um, yeah. Hawks had 40 shots in the game, and a big reason why they didn't end the game in regulation is because they went 0 for 5 on the power play in this game. Arizona killed all 5 penalties the Hawks had, and it, it's really bad, man. That's awful. 0 for 5. Can't even get one. I understand that power plays, typically, an average power play averages around 15%. But when you get 5 power plays, you gotta score one. Thankfully, you won in overtime. You're like, man, you gotta score one of those, and that puts the game away. You don't even have to worry about overtime. And they did a fine job in terms of, keep staying out of the penalty box. Arizona only had 1 power play. They didn't score. Hawks penalty killed the 1 penalty. But yeah, Arizona closing in on their 50th regulation loss. Hawks could have given it to them in this one. They didn't quite do so. Hawks get the win, and it may be their last win of the year. They got the 5 games left. Kings, Sharks on the road, home for Philadelphia and Vegas, and then they finish the season out in Buffalo. Now they could beat Philadelphia, they could beat Buffalo, they could beat San Jose again, but I mean, the likelihood of them winning more than 1 game kind of seems low because they just, especially down the stretch here late in the year, they just can't beat competition that they should be beating. And so they've struggled against everyone, and so I probably give them 1 win for these last 5 games. Hawks have 26 wins on the season. They'll probably add 1 or 2 more extra time losses here to end the year because this is how the season's gone. They've played close sometimes, and they just struggle to win in overtime. They did get the win in this game, but in general, this season they've struggled to deliver in overtime, and they have 11 overtime losses, which is quite a bit. So yeah, here we are down the home stretch. Just 5 games left until this season's over. Finally. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one. If you liked it, please hit the like button. And then hit that subscribe button for more reactions. And I'll see you guys next time.